I don't know what's wrong with the people around me. I've come outside, this mature lady, I see her all the time actually, and she's just literally, she's stopped, looked at the floor, looked back up, went to go this way, and then she carried on that way in the way she was going. And this is what the people are like around here. I don't know what's wrong with people in my area. Anyway, so I've decided to take a slow walk to go and to collect my son and carry on with this series of videos that I'm doing. But they just keep being like I'm doing video, yeah. You can see I was wearing pink, yeah. I got a bit of pink on my earrings as well, and then so I have to hear somebody outside my window talking about Boy George. And I'm getting really sick and tired of all the jokes. Like my sexuality is a joke. Then there's a van outside my car park. On the van it says Wen Bar. So if you rearrange the lettering and put an I in the word, it sounds like webinar. So webinar. I've just had enough of all this, like I don't know what they're doing, all this mind control programming, whatever it is they're doing, what they're trying to do. Like, I'm not gay, I'm not bisexual. If I was gay, if I was bisexual, I would be happy and proud. I'd be the first person with my hand up. So yeah, I'm gay, I'm proud, I'm bisexual, and I'm proud to be. I'd be the first person doing that, saying that. I'd be like, yeah, I'm happy, I'm proud, I'm gay, I'm bi, I'm proud. Anyway, what was I talking about? What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I've been talking about this spiritual psychosis experience I had in 2008, and I was saying how my son's been calling me stupid, and it was making me reflect on how I feel that in general, wherever I am, people are always trying to make me feel as if I'm stupid. It's not the case in every single instance, but a lot of the case, this is the case. And then this is making me then, what it is, there's something about my psychotic experience that I had and that I want to talk about, but you know, so I can't divulge into absolutely every single part of this thing what happened to me, because some of it's very tedious, and some of it, even to explain, it's very long-winded, it's very tedious. But there are some things I want to touch on, I want to mention, just to give you the idea, to give you the picture of like chronology of events, of how this was occurring, of what was occurring, how it was occurring. And even when I explain, a lot of the things will sound very kind of like just ho-hum tedium, because it's not like something dramatic was actually going on. It's not. A lot of times when you have these type of experiences, it's not an actual thing or situation or circumstance that's actually going on that's propelling this thing. It's a very personal, very kind of like intimate thing that's going on with your mental processes and your spirit and your feelings, you know. So a lot of what I'm going to explain, it sounds very tedious, but it sounds tedious because of that fact. You're not describing like something that happened. It's like what's going on with you internally. It's how your mind is processing and perceiving internal and external things around you, and how it's having a very profound impact on you emotionally, on your spirit. So it's very hard for another person to understand, like, you know, the impact that this, something that can seem very tedious externally, the impact it's having on you emotionally, you know, spiritually, you know, like this. So yeah, so I was saying, it can sound very tedious, the things that I'm explaining, but that tedium is a lot of the times because what you're trying to explain is what's going on with your mental like interpretation of things around you, or you know, situations, circumstances, and it's the impact that these things are having on you, like on your mind, on your emotions, if you go and watch the previous episode. So I was saying that yesterday my son was calling me stupid, and I was getting really upset about it, and it was making me self-reflect on why is this making me so upset, and it was making me reflect on previous relationships where I feel like the other person's been trying to make me feel stupid. And I decided this morning I'm going to continue on this story, but from the very beginning, yeah, of like when this psychosis started to come upon me. But then basically when I was going through my mind what I was going to talk about, it actually made me remember not the same and not as deep, not as impactful, but about 5 years prior, I actually had something like this happening with me before. I wouldn't call it psychosis, but yeah, it was some kind of like, my perceptions were going really very similar actually about 5 years before. And this was well before, obviously, like I've said many times, we've got the internet now, we know all about gang stalking and being a targeted individual now and all of this sort of stuff. And I'm really not sure if all this time ago what I'm talking about, it might have been actually the start of this gang stalking program. Sometimes I do question, how long has this gang stalking thing been going on with me? It's probably been going on with me a lot longer than what I actually realised myself. And what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to, I've been saying how I've been feeling really as if I teleported back to when I was like 20 years old and all of this, when I was at college and stuff. And the thing is, I was watching back my videos and I realised I'm wearing this jumper and it actually says the Hamptons 1999, which is actually the very year that I started my A-levels. So it's probably something to do with that as well. The clothes that I'm even wearing is making me teleport to that time as well, 1999. But so it was all around this sort of time actually. It was when I got back from America, the first time I went there, like 1999 up to 2001, I was at college. Yeah, and then from 2001 to about 2005, I was putting on shows, you see, in my area, like local community theatre shows. So I'm talking all about that time. But basically, yeah, when I finished college, I've mentioned many times in my videos this company, this group that I used to go along to doing drama, this opera group, Birmingham Opera Company. And the director of that company, his name is Graham Vick, and I didn't know he passed away a couple of years ago. I was really shocked to find out actually that he passed away. But basically, cause I have a lot of like strong memories from taking part in them shows. And so going back to this spiritual psychosis thing that I was going through. So when I first started taking part in them shows, because I was talking about having people to try to make you feel stupid. And I remember like when I first started taking part in those shows, I was getting so like, my emotions were just all over the place. Yeah, because I used to go along to that group. As I said before, I was very passionate about drama and acting and all this sort of stuff, and that's all I really was thinking about. That's all I wanted to do when I was like this sort of age. Yeah, and so I was going along to this, company, this group, to take part in the shows, to self-develop and build my confidence and all of this sort of thing. Develop that, my craft, if you want to call it that, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. So, and I had a fab time, taking part in these shows, Birmingham Opera Company. Yeah, but I did find that I was just, when I was doing those shows, because what it is, the company is run by like top opera professionals, like operatic directors who they like tour all about, they're like directing and putting on professional opera, for professional theatre. And I was feeling like there was just like taking the mickey out of me a lot of the time. And obviously when you're this sort of age, like when you're at college and you're just finishing college, you're still learning, you're still growing, and it's that kind of, you're feeling a lot of peer pressure. You're very insecure at that age anyway. So I think I was, quite insecure. And so then going along to this group and then just be feeling like these people are just trying to make me feel like as if I'm stupid, and trying to embarrass me. I felt like that a lot. Yeah, like they was just trying to like make me feel stupid, embarrassed. And I think I was just so sort of like in my feelings, at that time. I was so sort of like excited, nervous, like anticipatory, and I was like so like, I was really like this, really jangled, my nerves and everything was so like jangled. I still am like that, like compared from then till now. I've calmed down a lot, and you can't believe, this is like the calmer version of me, if you ever watch any of my videos, but so I was like how I am now, but like 10 times more. I was just jangled all the time. And so I did start to experience this kind of like mental perception. I don't know what I was going, I wouldn't call it, I wouldn't call it psychosis, but I don't know what to call it. I wouldn't know what to call it. I would just call it like a spiritual experience where I was going to uni at the time, and I was feeling like things that I was doing at university, because I used to go along to this group in the evenings, like after college, after university in the evening, and I would feel like these coincidental things kept occurring. these coincidences was going on. I have to explain, actually, because in some of my other videos I've said, yeah, when I was 21 I had an operation, yeah, in the hospital, and I lost a lot of blood. And yeah, I think from losing all this blood, right, because around this I used to just walk around feeling really just like my spirit was like only half in my body or something. It's really difficult for me to explain. I used to walk around just feeling like like this bewilderment. Yeah, around this time I did just really bewildered, like a bit out of it, a bit spacey. Yeah, but I think I was having anemia at the time. I used to be anemic, and I think because of my anemia, a lot of the time I just would be feeling like my head was just like out of it. Yeah, and really spacey, and yeah, these like coincidental things kept happening. So I'd be at uni, and then when I got to the group, it's like something that happened during the daytime when I was at uni, something very similar would be like happening when I'd be in that group, right? But this kind of thing kept happening a lot, to the point where I was feeling like I started to even think it in my head, like, is this a game? That I started to feel like my life was a game, and like there was this game on the street going on, and I was part of the game, and that everybody was in on the game, but I wasn't in on the game. It's really hard to explain, but as I said, if you're anyone who's like being gang stalked or has had gang stalking, or if you feel like you're being a targeted individual, anything like that, you'll probably understand these kind of things, what I'm talking about. Because as I'm saying, at that time, I didn't know what was going on. And I think over the years, I just put it down to, I was probably just like in this because this can happen. You can get yourself into such an emotional state that it brings on these kinds of episodes. It brings on these kinds of like psychoses of the mind. So over time, I just put it down to that. I just thought, you know what, I was in an environment of, people, experiencing, learning, developing, being around people that I hadn't really been exposed to these kinds of people before. And as I said, I was very like in my feelings. I was very like excited, elated, anticipative, nervous. And I just put it down to, I was probably just so much getting in my feelings that I maybe just brought all this on myself, like mentally, just from how like nervous, from just being so jangled. But now looking back, now knowing what I know now, with all this technology and stuff, and as I said, how we've all become so aware of all this stuff, like I'm saying, like gang stalking, being targeted and all this sort of stuff. Now I think, you know what, I don't know, I do not know if what was going on, if it was just going on in my head, if I was just going through some kind of episode, or if that was actually what I was experiencing was actually some sort of program that I was experiencing, was part of the Gangstalking Program all the way back then. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. I think I was experiencing this type of like spiritual awakening, spiritual psychosis, whatever you want to call it, all the way back to then. Yeah, I think that's actually when it all started to happen. Yeah, when I joined this like company, this group, when I started taking part in the shows with this group, this company. Anyway, if you're interested in anything what I'm talking about right now, I know it's all a bit here, there and everywhere, but I'm on my way to collect my son. I'm a bit early. Go and watch the previous videos about my spiritual psychosis, and I'll see you in my next video. Like, share, subscribe and leave a comment on my video. Thank you very much. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've experienced anything like this, and how the mental health professionals, how they dealt with your situation and with your case. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.